Hello students, today we will do an assignment related to chapter 4 quadratic equations. The first question of the assignment is if one root of the quadratic equation which is 2x square plus kx minus 6 equals to 0 is 2, find the value of k and also find out the other root. The given equation is 2x square plus kx minus 6 equals to 0. Students, we are given that x is equal to 2. It is a root of the equation. Root of the equation means one of the values of x is 2, as it is a quadratic equation. So it will be having two values of x. Out of the two values, one is given to us. Now when we put this x equals to 2 in the given equation, LHS will be equal to RHS. So first of all, put x equals to 2. So we get 2 into 2 square plus k into 2 minus 6 equals to 0. 2 square is 4, so it becomes 2 into 4 plus 2k minus 6 equals to 0. On simplification, we get 2k plus 2 equals to 0, and the value of k comes out to be minus 1. Now the first part of the question is done. The second part of the question is find the other root of the equation. One of the root given is 2. We need to find out the another root. So for that, put k equals to minus 1 in the given equation. So I have written put k equals to minus 1 in the given equation. On putting k equals to minus 1, we get 2x square minus x minus 6 equals to 0. Now we get a quadratic equation, and this can be simplified using factorization method. In factorization method, we split the middle term, and we know that in that method we need to find out two numbers such that their sum is equal to the coefficient of x, which is minus 1 here, and the product is equal to the product of the constant term and the coefficient of x, which is 2. So we need two numbers with their sum as minus 1 and their product as minus 6 into 2, which is minus 12. And two such numbers are minus 4 and 3. If we add these numbers, we get minus 1, and if we multiply these numbers, we get minus 12. So we can take any one number at the first place and the next number at the next place. So we can write 2x square minus 4 into x plus 3x minus 6 equals to 0. Now take 2x common from first and second term. So in the bracket we will get x minus 2. Take 3 common from next two terms. So in the bracket we will be left with the same terms. Now these two brackets are same. So take this common, x minus 2, in another bracket write down 2x plus 3. Now we get 2x plus 3 into x minus 2 equals to 0. Now here the product of two polynomials comes out to be 0. If the product of two polynomials is 0, then either of the two should be equal to 0. So in the next step, write down 2x plus 3 equals to 0. From here we get x equals to minus 3 by 2 and x minus 2 equals to 0. So x comes out to be 2. Now 2 is already given as one of the root. So the other root of the equation is minus 3 by 2. Now the next question of the assignment is solve the following quadratic equations by factorization method. Factorization means splitting the middle term, and it has 4 parts. So let's do the first part, which is x square plus 2 root 2x minus 6 equals to 0. In factorization method, we need to find out two numbers with their sum as the coefficient of x, which is plus 2 root 2, and the product as the product of minus 6 into 1. So we need the sum as plus 2 root 2 and the product minus 6, and two such numbers are 3 root 2 and minus root 2. Try to add these numbers. After adding the numbers, we get plus 2 root 2, and on multiplication root 2 and root 2 it makes 2. So 3 into 2 6 and one negative sign here. So write down x square plus 3 root 2x minus root 2x minus 6 equals to 0. Now we can take x common from first and second term. So x into x plus 3 root 2 minus root 2. Take root 2 common, write down x, then already we have written negative sign outside the bracket, so change this sign, so it will become plus, then 3 root 2. Now students, why I have written 3 root 2 here? Suppose we open the brackets, then we get root 2 into 3 root 2, which is 3 into root 2 into root 2, which means 6, and negative sign, so we will get minus 6 after opening the bracket. So hence we have written 3 root 2 here. Now the next step is, one of the bracket is common, which is x plus 3 root 2. So write down x minus root 2 into x plus 3 root 2 equals to 0. So either of these two should be equal to 0. So write down x minus root 2 equals to 0 or x plus 3 root 2 equals to 0. So from the first one we get x equals to root 2 and x is equal to minus 3 root 2. So at the last we can write root 2 and minus 3 root 2 are the roots of the given equation. The next part is root 3x square plus 10x plus 7 root 3 equals to 0. Now in the same way we need two numbers with their sum as plus 10 and the product as 7 root 3 into root 3. Now students, root 3 into root 3 is 3. So 7 into 3, 21. So the two numbers are 7 and 3 with their sum as 10 and their product as 21. So we can write root 3x square plus 3x plus 7x plus 7 root 3 equals to 0. Take root 3x common. So in the bracket we will be left with x plus root 3 is already common. So write down root 3 inside the bracket. Suppose we open the brackets, we get root 3 into root 3, which means 3, the same term, plus 7 common from the next two terms. So we get the same polynomial in the next bracket. Write down x plus root 3 in one bracket and root 3x plus 7 in the another bracket. From here we get root 3x plus 7 equals to 0. So x comes out to be minus 7 by root 3. We know that root 3 is an irrational number. So rationalize the denominator. So after rationalization, we will get minus 7 root 3 upon 3. For rationalization, multiply the numerator and denominator by root 3. So one of the answer comes out to be 7 root 3 upon 3. This 3 comes from root 3 into root 3, which means 3. And the next root is x plus root 3 equals to 0. So x comes out to be minus root 3. So in this way we can write x is equal to minus 7 root 3 upon 3 and minus root 3. They are the roots of the given equation. Now let's do the third part. In the third part we are given that x upon x plus 1 plus x plus 1 upon x is equal to 34 by 15, and two conditions are given that x cannot be equal to 0 and x cannot be equal to minus 1. Now let's see why these conditions are given. Let's put x equals to 0. If we put x equals to 0, in the second term the denominator will become 0, and we know that division by 0 is not defined. So this second term will be having no meaning if x is equal to 0. Now let's put x equals to minus 1. If we put x equals to minus 1, this first term, the denominator will become minus 1 plus 1, which is 0. And we know that the division by 0, it is not defined. So this term will be having no meaning. So that's why we are given the conditions that x cannot be equal to 0 and it cannot be equal to minus 1. Now let's simplify this. First of all, take the LCM of the denominators. Since these are two different polynomials, so their LCM will be x into x plus 1, the product of these two polynomials. Now the next step is to write the numerators. Out of these two, we have x plus 1 already, or divide this LCM by the denominator of the first term. We will be left with x. Multiply this x with the numerator. X into x is x square. Put the sign of plus. Then divide the LCM by the denominator of the second term, which is x. We are left with now x plus 1. So multiply x plus 1 by x plus 1, we get x plus 1 whole square. Now here we will apply an identity a plus b whole square, which is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. Now after simplification we get x square plus 1 square plus 2 into x into 1. Open the brackets in the denominator, so it becomes x square plus x equals to 34 by 15. Now in the next step, simplify the numerators. So it becomes 2x square plus 1 plus 2x upon x square plus x equals to 34 by 15. Now at this step, cross multiply. After cross multiplication and simplification on transposing the terms to the right hand side, we will get 4x square plus 4x minus 15 equals to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation. It can be simplified by so many ways, but here we need to find out the roots of the equation by factorization. So we will split the middle term. So we need two numbers with their sum as plus 4 and their product as minus 15 into 4, which is minus 60. So the two numbers are plus 10 and minus 6. So write down 4x square plus 10x minus 6x minus 15 equals to 0. Take 2x common from first and second term and minus 3 common from the next two terms. So we get 2x minus 3 into 2x plus 5 equals to 0. From here the value of x comes out to be 3 by 2, and from the second polynomial we get x is equal to minus 5 by 2. So x is equal to 3 by 2 and minus 5 by 2. These are the roots of the given quadratic equation.